In the beginning, the night sky was a vast, empty canvas, dark and silent, stretching endlessly above the earth. The people below felt small and alone, their world confined to the flickering glow of their fires. They told stories to fill the darkness, but their voices were muted under the weight of the empty heavens. They wondered if they were truly alone, their eyes searching the void for any sign of life or comfort. One cold night, as the villagers huddled together for warmth, a great shadow moved across the sky. The elders gasped, recognizing the shape. It was the Sky Father, the ancient guardian of the world. He had seen the sorrow in the hearts of the people, their loneliness like a wound in the fabric of the universe. The Sky Father's voice boomed across the land, deep and resonant, like the sound of the ocean's waves. "Why do you fear the darkness?" he asked, his words filled with both kindness and curiosity. A young girl named Lyra stepped forward, her face lit by the faint glow of the fire. "The night feels endless," she said. "There's nothing to guide us, no light to show us that we are not alone." The Sky Father gazed down at her, his expression softening. He understood then that the people needed more than just stories. They needed a connection, a reminder that they were part of something greater. He reached up into the sky, his immense hands pulling threads of stardust from the ether. He began to scatter them across the darkness, each star a tiny point of light that shimmered like a promise. The villagers watched in awe as the stars multiplied, filling the sky with a sparkling tapestry. The darkness was no longer empty, it was alive with countless lights, each one a beacon of hope. The people gasped, their faces lit with wonder, as they felt the presence of something greater than themselves. "These stars will keep watch over you," the Sky Father declared. "Each one is a guardian, a companion for your soul. You will never be alone, no matter where you are." Lyra looked up, her eyes shining with tears. "But how will we know what they mean?" she asked. "How can we understand their messages?" The Sky Father smiled, his voice gentle. "I will give them names and stories, patterns that you can see and follow. Each constellation will carry its own wisdom, guiding you through the trials of life. And one day you will learn to read the stars, to see the patterns that shape your fate." With a final gesture, the Sky Father painted the last star into the sky, the brightest of them all. "This star," he said, pointing to it, "will be your North Star, a guiding light to lead you home." The villagers cheered, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of connection. The sky was no longer empty, it was a map, a living guide that would link them to each other and the world beyond. As the seasons passed, the people began to learn the stories written in the stars. They gathered at night, pointing up at the constellations that dotted the sky. Each one had a name, a tale that tied to the earth below. The elders became the keepers of these stories, passing them down through generations, connecting the people to their ancestors. One of the first constellations they named was Orion, the hunter. His stars formed the shape of a warrior, his belt a line of 3 bright lights. Orion will watch over the hunters, the elders said. He guides those who seek to provide to their families, giving them strength and courage. Next was Cassiopeia, the queen. Her stars formed a crooked W shape, a symbol of both pride and beauty. Cassiopeia reminds us of the dangers of vanity, the elders warned. She was punished for her arrogance, placed in the sky as a lesson to us all. As the villagers named the constellations, they noticed something remarkable. The stars seemed to influence their lives in subtle ways. The hunters found more game when Orion was bright in the sky. The fields bloomed when the constellations of Virgo, the maiden, was visible, her appearance marking the time of harvest. "It's as if the stars themselves are guiding us," Lyra marveled, now grown into a wise young woman. "They're not just stories, they're signs, shaping the world around us." The elders agreed. They realized that the stars were more than a map. They were a reflection of the natural world, a cosmic clock that influenced the tides, the seasons, and even the behavior of animals. It was Lyra who first suggested that the stars might also influence the people themselves. "We are made of the same stardust as the sky," she said. "Perhaps our lives are linked to the constellations, our fates intertwined with the movements of the heavens." The idea took hold and the villagers began to watch the stars more closely, noting how certain constellations appeared during important events in their lives, births, marriages, and moments of great change. They started to map these patterns, creating what would become the first astrological charts. The villagers saw that those born under Leo, the lion, were often strong and brave, while those born under Pisces, the fish, were gentle and creative. They learned to read the sky like a book, understanding the influence of the stars on their own natures. "It's a language," Lyra said one night, tracing the constellations with her finger. "The Sky Father gave us these stars not just for light, but for guidance. They are part of us, speaking to our hearts if we listen." The people realized they were no longer alone. The sky was alive with voices, a chorus of stories and signs. that connected them to the universe itself. The villagers embraced the stars' guidance, mapping the heavens with increasing complexity. Astrological charts became prized possessions, passing down through families filled with predictions and insights. It seemed that the stars could offer answers to everything: weather forecasts, health, even matters of the heart. Lyra, now an elder herself, watched as the people's fascination with the stars grew. What had started as a comforting reminder of connection was now becoming a rigid system of belief. One evening, under a clear moonlight sky, the villagers gathered to celebrate the festival of stars. They danced and sang beneath the constellations, recounting the stories that had shaped their understanding of the universe. But as the night wore on, a dispute broke out between two young men, each born under opposing signs: Aries the ram and Libra the scales. I was born under Aries, the constellation of warriors, one argued. The stars have given me strength and the right to lead. Your strength means nothing without balance, the other retorted. Libra teaches fairness and harmony. You are reckless, while I am wise. The crowd murmured in agreement, splitting into factions. It was the first time the people had used their star signs, not as symbols of guidance, but as weapons for division. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hands for silence. Enough, she said, her voice strong despite her age. The stars do not dictate who we are. They offer guidance, yes, but they do not control us. We have the power to shape our own destinies. But her words were lost in the clamor. The villagers had become obsessed with the patterns they saw in the skies, relying on the constellations to make every decision for them. Farmers refused to plant crops unless Virgo was high in the sky, fearing poor harvests. Lovers hesitated to marry if their signs were said to be incompatible. It was as if the people had given up their own agency, surrendering the choices to the stars. The sky that once brought them comfort now felt like a set of chains, blinding them to rigid paths. Lyra looked up, her heart heavy. The stars, once symbols of connection and wonder, were now a source of fear and conflict. We have lost our way, she whispered to herself. The Sky Father, watching from his celestial throne, felt a pang of sorrow. He had given the stars as a gift, a way to connect the people to the vastness of the universe, but they had misunderstood his intentions, turning the constellations into rigid rules instead of using them as gentle guides. He knew then that he must intervene, before the people lost their sense of wonder entirely. One night, as the villagers argued over the alignment of the planets, a great wind swept through the valley, extinguishing every fire. The sky darkened and the stars seemed to vanish. The villagers looked up in panic, their cries of fear echoing through the silence. What's happening? They whispered. Have the stars abandoned us? In the center of the village, a column of light descended from the sky, and the Sky Father appeared. His form was vast and shimmering, his face both kind and stern. The villagers fell to their knees, their eyes wide with awe. You have forgotten the true meaning of the stars, the Sky Father said, his voice a deep rumble that shook the earth. I scattered them across the sky not as a command, but as a gift. They are meant to inspire you, not control you. Lyra stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. We misunderstood, Sky Father, she said. We thought the stars were a map of our destinies, fixed and unchangeable. The Sky Father nodded, his expression softening. The stars are a reflection of the universe's potential, he explained. They show what could be, but they do not dictate what must be. You have the free will, the power to choose your own path. He raised his hand and the stars reappeared brighter than ever before. Constellations shifted, moving in graceful arcs, their shapes fluid and ever-changing. The villagers watched in awe as the familiar patterns transformed before their eyes, reminding them that the universe was in constant motion, just like their own lives. Look, the Sky Father said, pointing to the constellation of Aquarius, the water bearer. Aquarius brings a flow of ideas, but without action, they remain only dreams. He gestured to Scorpio, its tail curling through the night sky. Scorpio's sting is powerful, but it can heal as well as harm. It is a reminder of your strengths that can be used for both good and ill. The villagers murmured among themselves, realization dawning on their faces. They had been looking up at the stars for answers, but the true lesson was to find balance between the heavens and their own hearts. The Sky Father turned to Lyra, offering her a gentle smile. You have always understood, Lyra, he said. Teach them that the stars are companions, not rulers. They light the way, but it is you who must walk the path. Lyra bowed deeply, her heart filled with gratitude. I will, Sky Father. We will learn to see the stars as they were meant to be seen, as guides, not chains. In the days that followed, the villagers gathered each night to look up at the sky, but now they did so with new eyes. They told the stories of the constellations, but they no longer relied on them for rigid answers. Instead, they found inspiration using the stars to reflect on their own choices and dreams. Lyra, sitting by the village's great fire, told the story of Skyfall's promise. The stars connect us to each other, she said. They remind us that we are part of something greater, but they do not dictate who we must become. We are free to choose our own fate. The children listened with wide eyes, pointing out their favorite constellations. Look, there's Gemini, the twins, one exclaimed. They remind us to seek balance between our dual natures. And there's Sagittarius, the archer, another said. It shows us the importance of aiming high, but also of knowing when to release our arrows. The villagers no longer feared the alignments of the stars. They used the constellations as tools for reflection, a way to understand their own desires and strengths. The sky was a canvas, filled with endless possibilities. One night, as the village lay silent under the sparkling canopy of stars, Lyra looked up and felt a deep sense of peace. The constellations twinkled down at her, as if sharing a quiet laugh. She could almost hear the Skyfall's voice, whispering across the wind, "I am watching, but the path is yours to choose." And so the stars continued to shine, their light a gentle reminder that while fate may whisper, it is the choices we make that truly define us.